What is up, everybody? More StarCraft action coming at you. StarCraft 2, in fact. We have today game number 3 between ScoobyJ and Fredrick in the StarCraft 2 Dirt Dogs tournament thinger. ScoobyJ is, of course, spawning in the top right as the green Protoss. Fredrick in the bottom right as the pink Zerg. The map today is Tal'Darim Altar LE. And this is a very big map, which is good for macro games if that's what you're looking for. The choke in the natural is kind of big, but it's pretty popular to block it off nonetheless. Looks like Jay's got plans to do something to that effect down here, or rather up here since he's in the top of the map. And scouting out after his pylon. And it looks like he is going to successfully find Fredrick on the first try. Fred opting to scout all the way across the map, despite the fact that he now knows that his opponent has to be in the close position, but you never know, maybe he just wasn't paying attention to that probe. Forge going down, so it looks like Jay's going for the full-on Forge fast expansion. Jay gets a good look at the drone count here. No spawning pool for Fred quite yet. Perhaps opting to go for the hatchery first, which would be a pretty good idea on this map. Jay looking to block that hatchery. Fred a little unsure what to do about that. Decides to give that probe a couple bites. Jay looking to put down a pylon, but decides not to. Instead he gets pushed out of that base, and Fred now has enough money for 2 expansions. So if he really wanted to, he could do just that. So looks like Joe is pretty successful in planting down that, or delaying that expansion, but Fred's just like, screw it, whatever, I'll put down my spawning pool at the same time. Jay, of course, going for that Nexus. No cannons as of yet, but we can probably expect to see one like there, say, in the near future. Or there, that works too. That's real close to the ramp, and you have to kind of go around the forge. I guess if you put like a gateway or something there, that'd probably make for a good wall. Looks like Fred going for a very strangely placed extractor steel. I'm not sure why he would take that instead of this. Jay's probably not going to be mining that gas for a very long time anyways. I suppose one could argue that it would grant you vision. Although, not a whole lot you can actually see with it. You can't see what kind of buildings Jay's got up here. And yeah, you just can't really see a whole lot in general, except for how many probes are currently mining at his natural, which I suppose is better than nothing. Looks like a couple of spine crawlers coming in for Fredrick. He's a little bit paranoid about early pressure, it would seem. Jay getting a good look at everything that Fred's base has to offer. Fred mostly just pumping not probes, but drones at this point. Second queen about to pop out here. Both extractors are up, and well, this one's not quite fully mining. I don't know if he knows that or not. Moving these spine crawlers up to his natural. So Fred probably has some plans for his gas. Jay not opting to kill this extractor quite yet. Both running in his main. Cybercore coming up. Looks like he's got a pretty nice wall built up here. It's a little bit open up here, but the point is, this cannon's got a free reign of the low ground, more or less. It's killing off this extractor, so I guess Fred knows that Jay has managed to build a zealot by the 7-minute mark. Although that's more than what can be said for Fredrick. Not a single Zergling in sight. But some nice spine crawler placement here. Evolution chamber going down. Grabbing that lair. Despite not building any attacking units, Fred's fairly behind in the worker count by this point. Although he does have a pretty good amount mining at each base. Look at the income tab. Jay's just doing it a little bit better though. It's ahead in both. Quite possibly because of the fact that Fred is still mining 2 on this gas. Baneling Nest, Spire going down. Perhaps that is what he had planned for them mutas. Or that gas. Yeah, mutas is what he had planned. Both extractors going up the natural. This queen really needs to inject. So does this one. Not sure where his attention is at quite yet. Where is he looking? He's looking to build some spine crawlers is what he's doing. Okay, stop doing that. I control the camera, not you. Jay got both assimilators up in his main. Mining 4 off that Kaiser. Starting to build up a little bit of an army here. Warp gate just about done. He's got 5 gateways. That's a pretty good amount. Looks like he's looking to grab his 3rd before long here. Warp gates coming in. A little high on the chrono energy. But I guess his minerals are pretty low, so... The spectators are pointing out possible blink locations. Twilight Council is done, so blink is certainly an option. Looks like Jay's getting some photon cannons for defense. Does he know about this spire? He doesn't, but Fred does tend to like mutas, so perhaps he's going off of instinct. Or maybe he's just being careful. Who knows? No cannons in this mineral line. Templar Archives coming down. He could really use some cannons in this mineral line if he's looking to protect against mutas. A couple of mutas are on the field. Quite literally a couple. There are exactly 2. Spore crawler coming up. It's always a good idea, just in case there's any Dark Templars. Jay does like his Dark Templars. And apparently he decided to stop killing these rocks halfway. Maybe there's something coming that he was afraid of. Pylon looks like he's getting some power behind his mineral line, so he might be thinking to put some cannons up there as well. Researching Psystorm and Charge, so it looks like he's not opting to go for Blink after all. Robo Facility is up. Oh, and here are the mutas. It looks like they were able to kill this pylon before he was able to place any photon cannons back here. But this one cannon was enough to scare him off. Fred's just going to go right back for the natural mineral line. This is just so annoying for the Protoss to deal with, because there's just not a lot you can do. Aggressively warping in these stalkers, but mutas are able to get out of there real quick like. It's not really doing a whole lot of damage by flying over here, but it's at least enough to draw away Jay's army, so they can come back and harass this mineral line. Fred's doing a really good job of applying pressure here. He's not doing a whole lot to take advantage of it back at home though. It looks like he's wanting to take this base, but he hasn't done that yet, and his mineral count's starting to get quite high. No more units in production at the moment either. Both bases sitting at full. Both have 3 larvae, no inject going on there. Fred's attention is definitely spent wholly up here trying to keep these mutas alive, trying to do some damage. Which is definitely a very novel concept, but it's not going to do you a whole lot of good if you're not taking advantage of the havoc you're creating. Jay's main has been forced to stop mining. He has been able to shut down these buildings here, but Jay's got a couple Archons up on the field now, so looks like he's opting to not go for that Storm. Not a bad idea, because hitting those mutas with Storm can be a little bit tricky. But he's able to catch these mutas with those Archons just like that. They're gonna go down real quickly though. So he does have the one cannon in his natural now. Not the best positioning, but he's doing what he can. Looks like these mutas are forced to evacuate all the way across the field. I'm not sure what that Overlord is doing over there, but you know, whatever. This muta's coming back home, and Jay, well, I mean, not Jay, but Fredrick has decided it's about time that he continued producing stuff. So he's got a whole whack of mutas on the way. That brings his total up to... He's got 12 hotkeyed, but that looks a lot like 17 or 15 to me. Bunch of Overlords coming in. Got another hatchery and an infestation pit. So you could really use this macro hatchery to help spend down those minerals. But Jay's pretty high too, actually. He's in fact higher than Fredrick at the moment. His warp gates are not on cooldown, so he could be warping stuff in at the moment, but he's a little bit focused on this attack, it would seem. No forward pylon for reinforcements, so I guess he's probably pretty confident that he can end this. Unfortunately, Fred's forces... Well, his ground forces were torn apart by those Archons already, but... So all his... To begin with, all he really had was these mutas, though, and they're really not going to do a whole lot in a direct engagement, especially with these Archons leading the push. All these Overlords getting AoE'd by those Archons, and those mutas just got annihilated. So it looks like all it took was a little bit of counter pressure, and Jay was able to pull it out. Fred's streaming in some Zerglings, but it's just a little bit too late, and he seems a little bit perturbed by the fact. And just to make matters worse, Jay's bringing in this Warp Prism to get some Stalkers in the base, but Fred's having enough, and he calls it a good game.